Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We're doing an Eden-filled evening today because we're doing an Eden run in this and then I'm doing an Eden run in Gungeon. What do you mean he's called Paradox? No, his name's Eden. You just read it wrong. Stats are good spacebar item. We only have good tier rate because of the toothpicks. S78X3W2R is the seed in our first item room, might as well. There's a chance to resurrect as Lazarus, which is okay, I guess. It's more shot speed and other things. You're watching this while in class. Don't say that too loudly or they might hear you. Also, if it's like... we have to be over here. And then push this over here. I don't think this is going to work. Bollocks. It almost worked. I mean, if you're in college, they won't give a crap if you're wasting your time watching YouTube or Twitch. They treat you like an adult, and if you choose to waste your time as an adult, that's on you. I had people who, when I was finishing up college, they were just getting around to doing things they should have done their first year because they just didn't do it, and the lecturers just write, like, well, yeah, whatever, just, you'll have to do it eventually if you want to pass, just for the record, and they're like, okay. And then skip ahead a few years and they're like, okay, remember that thing you didn't do? Do it now or you fail. I remember that distinctly because there was someone, like, nobody likes doing class presentations, like I really, really hated them. I still did mine. There was at least 2 people who didn't do theirs until the final week. Which I guess was kind of smart in the end because then they only had an audience of like 5 of us, but still. Some college professors do care. Well, care and do anything about it are 2 different things, really. I used the wrong verbiage. They probably care if you're wasting your time, but they are also aware you're an adult, and if you wish to do it, you can. And now that we have unlimited bombs for the floor, I guess I should look for secret rooms. In the most unlikeliest of... oh, yeah, like that. In the most unlikeliest of places. We started with the push pin, which is fairly irrelevant. Unlit bulb is good. Oh, sorry, lit bulb is good, rather. Unlit bulb is good, too. And there is a library, so we're going to go back to that. You had some uni professors that cared way too much. Did they spoon with you? Ah, that's the annoying one. We can get ourselves invincible by spending 1... give us bookworm. I like Book of the Dead. Actually, yeah, I like Book of the Dead. I was gonna take Book of Belial, but I like Book of the Dead. Thank you, Police of Cake, for the raid. Also, just letting you know, Chris B said you used the word redonkulous. That's strike 1. Don't think I won't pour molten hot tea over you, because I'll do it. There will be pain. Hello, famine. No, if I kill him, I'm going to have to skip my next turn. That's a nerd 4 souls joke for anybody who cares about those. So anyway, we're almost at the end of the first floor and I haven't even like laid out what stories I have to tell, which is tradition for Isaac. I didn't cook anything on my day off because I cooked something on Sunday and I have a little bit of a story about that. I did my shopping as is. I did a lot of 40k painting. We've been getting into that. Still been thinking through my potential rebrand on YouTube. Nothing on the Twitch side, so don't panic for now anyway. And then I do also have a story about today. I think I do have my next potential thing I'm going to attempt to cook that's new, that is, in mind. I'm not going to go to a shop. Second secret room, probably just... oh, we can't get out here. No, it can't be here. I can't be asked looking for it. And wait, no, it could be next to a shop. I'm going to quickly check if it's next to a shop, then we'll leave. Also, money, maybe? Okay. No, not into a baking channel. You're watching this while doing a test and you're in high school. They would probably care then, if they knew you were watching a Twitch stream. Your phone would be confiscated. That's fair. That is very fair. So when I was shopping on Monday, like the supermarkets here every quarter a year, I think, or quarter of a year, they bring out a magazine and it has like features and it has promotions and crap like that and vouchers, but it also has recipes, and one caught my eye in Tesco's newest one. So if you're in the UK and you want to find this recipe I'm talking about, you can't miss it. It's in their Easter magazine special, and the front cover is an Easter egg filled with ice cream. That's not what I want to make, it's just, it's a very eye-catching, weird cover. You just see a giant Easter egg filled with multiple colours of ice cream. Very fancy looking, but obviously not very good for you either. Thank you, Voradoro2, for 31 months. In a row as well, no less, with Twitch Prime. I feel like I've said your name recently and this is more Twitch shenanigans, but either way, thank you. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Anyway, it has a recipe for a kind of like, it's almost like a carrot cake bundt cake. A bundt cake is like the circular shaped one with like a polo hole in the middle, that kind of thing. I don't have one of those fancy tins, that's the word I was looking for, not trays. But I figured I could adapt the recipe and just use like a normal cake tin or something like that. And it's for like maple, carrot, pistachio, and a bunch of other nice sounding stuff. I thought, yeah, I could maybe take a stab at that. Look, he's on thin ice for that pun, but we don't jump immediately to bans for puns yet. Give it a month or two, then maybe. Oh good, Curse of Teleport. We should go back to the item room for sure. I want to clear one more room as well, so I just have... blow it up. Small rock? I want to clear one more room so we have lit bulb charged for the boss as well, so I'm stronger. So on Sunday I made some more scones because I really like scones, and if I do say so myself, I think mine are good. God damn it. I did have a little bit of a boo-boo with them though. For fuck's sake. Just let me in the friggin' item room. That wasn't even worth the time. Well, at least we got the chart. Oh wait, hang on, I can do that. Oh, well, never mind then. You have to use it in the room while the corpses are there, I guess. We did open the shop for free. And can't afford anything. So anyway, I was doing my scone recipe, and I was kind of doing it without paying attention, because like, I've done this a few times now. Well, I've done this 2 times before. This was my 3rd time. I was kind of looking at the recipe when I was mixing it all together, and then I was like, 1 egg. So yeah, okay, hang on a minute. I haven't put the egg in. And I had this moment where I was like, oh no, I forgot to put the egg into the dough. So I mixed an egg in, and then did the first batch of scones. And then I remembered that the 1 egg written on the recipe that I wrote out, for the record, isn't for 1 egg mixed into the mixture. It's you smush it up in a cup and then brush it on the top of the scones so that the top darkens when you cook them, so they look scone-like. So I made a mistake. They still turned out fine to me. I don't think it did anything super bad. But it was a little bit of a mistake, and they didn't taste as good as a result. But I picked up some more clotted cream and jam when I was at the supermarket, so honestly that hides any kind of like dull tasting scone. It's kind of a cheat. So that was really the only cooking adventure. I picked up some cherry flavouring that I'm going to try putting in fudge at some point. That wasn't from the supermarket, that was just from ordering online. I did read the Amazon review for the cherry flavouring, and they were like, this stinks of nail varnish. I'm like, they can't be right about that. I've had this brand before, and the other, like the candy floss and the bubblegum flavourings were the same brand, and they were fine. So I was like, no. So I bought the cherry, I opened it immediately and sniffed it and was like, that's nail varnish. It smells exactly like nail varnish. But then I took another sniff, and it's kind of like, then you can start to detect the cherry. But yeah, if you just take a whiff at a glance, well, it wouldn't be at a glance. If you just take a whiff in passing, It smells exactly like nail varnish. Or nail varnish remover, maybe. I don't have any of those things, so I'm just trying to base it on remembering the various smells coming from my sister's bedroom. Okay, clearly I'm not interesting you with this topic of conversation if you're all distracted by something Chris B said or did. It's fine, I didn't cook anything new, it's understandable. We can move on to talking about something else. Once this will be the punishment for most of you. Let's talk about the Batman comics I have read this month. As part of the monthly subscription I subscribe to. That's what you get. The first one was, well, you get 2 every month. The first one was 2 short stories put together. The Killing Joke, which everybody knows about. And The Man Who Laughs, which is the introduction of the Joker in the year 1 like timeline. So it's not like here's how he became the Joker, it's just like he's the Joker. Kind of like the Heath Ledger backstory in Dark Knight Rises, or whatever it was called, Dark Knight Returns. Where he's kind of like, he's just the Joker, and he was doing his Joker thing in a different city, then he just comes to Gotham to mess with Batman, essentially. It kind of follows that. He just comes to Gotham to cause trouble, and he has his first run-in with Batman. It's nowhere near as good as The Killing Joke, but it's pretty good, and they're both short, so I think it was nice of them to include it, because they could have got away with being really cheap and just doing The Killing Joke on its own because it's so iconic. So yeah, I like them both. Killing Joke is obviously better, and everybody knows about it. I like that the little blurb they put at the start was like, the ending is open to interpretation, what's your version of the ending? But we spoke about my belief of what the ending of The Killing Joke is, so we don't need to go over that again. I also probably should have re-rolled. Oh wait, no, Jera is not re-roll, it's multiply. Hello Daniel. And the other story that was included this month was called Officer Down. And it tells the story of Commissioner Gordon celebrating his birthday with a bunch of cops. He leaves the restaurant and is shot in the back 3 times. And it's a whodunit. Well, at least it's set up like who shot Commissioner Gordon. They said it doesn't really focus on that, it focuses on Batman being unable to function, worrying that Jim Gordon's going to die. So he gets like Nightwing, Robin, Batwoman, etc. to go basically do his busy work for him while he fails to cope. I was looking for more detective-based stories, like actual solving of crimes. It's a little bit of a shame they don't use Batman because he doesn't do anything. And the resolution is a little meh. Which I am going to spoil if you care. It turns out the person of what done it is just a cop who used to be a gangster but got given a new identity by the FBI, and Jim Gordon arrested him once, so that's it. It was a little disappointing. I would have preferred if there was an actual mystery, because like Catwoman witnesses it and she's like, yeah, I saw a cop do it, and then that kind of just leads them on that trail and it's fairly self-explanatory. Ooh, halitosis. There's a lot more ways it could have been interesting. I would have been willing to forgive it a little bit, but also the art is pretty bad. It's not that weird kind of like Art Deco, everything looks wrong style that I posted a couple of examples on Twitter once for one of the stories I got in this monthly thing. It just doesn't look nice to me. There's a few different artists involved because it was like a serialized 9-week thing. One of the artists is okay, but the other 2, nah, did not like it. I couldn't get into the story as a result. I just didn't like the art style at all. So Officer Down gets a no from me, but obviously The Killing Joke and The Man Who Laughs are both very good. I'm too fast for my own good. I slid into the damn spike. Am I worried about my HP now? Yes. I'm considering if I get any Spirit Hearts to just leave them on the floor and deliberately turn into Lazarus's floor as well. Maybe even double up the Spirit Hearts with Jera. We'll see. Well, there is a Tinted Rock in here actually. Let's see how many Spirit Hearts we get from it. Only the one. Okay. I will think on it. I did say the man who laughs, yes. Not to be confused with the Batman who laughs, who is also sometimes called the man who laughs. Speaking of which, Wayland Games was running a Easter sale and I decided to pick up the Batman who laughs model for the miniature game, so I'll be painting that at some point. Him and his gaggle of crow robins. Well, we'll fight the boss. Ragman 2 is not a good get. I dislike him immensely. But at least he's not very tanky. He also requires a bit more focus than the average boss. That did not touch me. What the hell was that? Did the trail touch me? There we go. Synth oil is not HP up, so we'll just take it. Still need to find our item room. If there's an HP up in it, probably we'll just become Lazarus so we can get some red HP back. But let's see what we can find on the... This is going to be a risky room coming back through though. We'll see, maybe we can buy a Spirit Heart in the shop as well. Just our speed is a little bit too high. It's almost maxed, in fact. Revenge Fly is very good. Even though it does require you to get hit first. Ugh, that's unfortunate. Well, thank goodness for Lit Bulb. That's why I'm never pressing spacebar, incidentally. Because I need the damage from it. Well, it's decision time, whether or not I become Lazarus. I won't be playing World War Z because it's on the Epic Launcher. I'm not getting the Epic Launcher for anything. I don't agree with the way they do business. Oh, we can have a look in the boss room. The game itself is just a Left 4 Dead ripoff, but it does look like it might be fun if anyone is willing to suffer through the launcher that steals your data. Very nearly. Let's just double it up. Maybe on the next floor. Left 4 Dead 2 is something you can revisit whenever. So never say never to that. Let's see, what was the other story I had from today? Oh, I know, it's what I did today. Because today, before recording a Batman Battle Report, I decided to just get my taxes out of the way. And I despise doing taxes. But what I especially despise about taxes is when I earn slightly less than I did in the last tax year, and you get taxed more. And I don't understand why. And if I want to understand why, I'd have to go spend 300 quid on an accountant to tell me why. And that bothers me. So what I'm basically saying is we should burn down every government. Does anybody like taxes? Taxes serve a purpose. I just don't like that I feel like I'm earning less yet paying more. Well, we might as well do that because we can immediately get our power back. Should do that every time a battery appears. And it's always stressful doing your own taxes if you don't want to pay an accountant. Tell what else it hits home. I should really stop spending as much as I do on Games Workshop stuff. That was an eye-opener. And I know I've done battle reports, but I don't feel right like claiming it as any expense. So I didn't. I do claim gaming related stuff because like getting the Switch was a business expense, for instance, but unless the rebrand happens, I don't feel comfortable classing 40k stuff as an expense for the business. It doesn't seem right. Spirit hearts, please. Ooh, that would be... Well, that gives you a black heart, but yeah, that's even better. Inland revenue. Did I ever play badminton? Yes, I did. I actually really liked badminton when I was a kid. I was pretty good at it. That's really the only sport I enjoyed, and then a little bit of basketball. And I guess I only really liked that because I'm tall, so I could do pretty well at it. I don't want there to be just pills because our pill rotation has not been particularly good. Oh, they're the ones who move fast. Well, now you're going to get devoured by Revengefly. Enjoy. Small rock, please. I would like some more damage. Bollocks, we've had a lot of Spirit Hearts from Tinted Rocks. I quickly... Oh wait, you did say dabbed. You meant dabbled, but you wrote dabbed. You dabbled with badminton. That's the destruction of this generation that was affecting you. It's not your fault. Let's see. Still need our item room. You're gonna ban yourself? That's fair. You know, I was this... Well, because I'm fitting in that Eden run in Gungeon, I was this close to After Isaac today. Just doing a quick little tester on a painting section. I don't know for how long, just to see if it kind of works. I wouldn't even know what to classify it as on Twitch, because it's not drawing, it's not... I don't even know if they have a painting type thing. What did they class Bob Ross as? Although I don't think miniature painting is exactly the same. Would you just call it just chatting, I guess? Art? But it's not art, it's miniature painting. That was very bad. Like, I'm painting something someone else has created. I don't think that counts as art. Yes, happy little trees. Alright. I'm seeing multiple people say that they would still class it as art. Do you think Twitch would be okay with it just being classed as just chatting as well? What do people do who sit in the just chatting category? Do they literally just like stare at their webcams? That doesn't seem very entertaining to me. Interpretive art. Nice. But I might still try it at some point this week. I don't know if I want to do like an extra time slot type situation rather than encroaching gaming time, because if I do go ahead with trying to just do 40k stuff and Batman stuff on YouTube, I don't want it to dabble into the Twitch side of things too much, because I want Twitch to remain about what Twitch is supposed to be about, which is video games. I know there's plenty of people who make a living not doing video games on Twitch, but I see Twitch as a video game platform. Or at least a platform about video games. And I like it that way. Whereas YouTube doesn't know what it is. But if I did go ahead and do it, then I'd take Chris B's suggestion and probably just do another associated channel. A channel? Associated? A channel is what I just said. Another associated channel to mine where I would still just... I'd put whole VODs over of my streams. Just for people who, for whatever reason, can't or won't watch on Twitch. Why do I always spend money first before using bombs on the reroll machine? Because bombs can blow it up. Well, this is free, so we'll take that for damage, thank you. And ignore the rest. Had the item room, had the shop, crush room, don't care about. We'll leave. Hello, Meadow Magpie. YouTube classifies Bob Ross as a controlled substance. That would be funny if true. Oh, there was that great bit in the Flat Earth documentary where the main nutter sees somebody with a Bob Ross t-shirt and just kind of, oh hey Bob Ross, and then kind of like shakes his head and says, a lot of lies there. What does that even mean? Although I guess he kind of had like space in the background, so maybe that's what he was talking about. That was a very funny moment. It's in the Flat Earth documentary on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, it's worth a watch. It's very funny. It's harmless idiots being idiots. Do I want that? I do want that. I will use that. I might not go back for the Hangman card because who cares? And we do not want Counterfeit Penny, although I'm sure Evil Vice President does. Yoink. I'm not sure what else to talk about now. We kind of covered all the topics I had in mind super quickly. Gimpy's fine. I'll take that. Because we already kind of blather on about the rebrand. I'm still torn about it. Because kind of like, it's a big step to rebrand your whole channel, but if what you're doing isn't working, where's the harm? Well, I guess there is harm. It might scare away whatever's left. But it's not just that, it's also that wargaming stuff is time consuming and hard to do properly. Finding other real opponents would be a necessity that I'm not sure how to solve. No, Bob Ross isn't secretly a snake-headed alien, also he's dead. So there's really no way to tell. Final Shell doesn't really have anything for us, so we'll just donate. No, it isn't something I could make a Patreon tier. If I did rebrand the YouTube channel, I would most likely rebrand Patreon slightly to have like dedications and things in 40k videos. Oh, you reminded me I need to do a Patreon dedication in this run. I had the bloody list ready as well. Thank you to Lord Tycon for your support on Patreon last month, and for Rydog to remind me to do that. Because I've been doing my research also, it's worth pointing out, into wargaming channels on YouTube. I've been doing a little assessment of who does what and how they do it, what works in my opinion, what doesn't work in my opinion, the other revenue sources besides YouTube ads they pursue, the way they do things. So I've been piecing together things I like that channels do and things I don't like that channels do. A few of them mix in Patreon things, like they get shoutouts if they're at a certain tier, and then the videos they get just like a splash screen, which is kind of like very old-fashioned gaming. Patreon dedications used to be that way, like at the end of the video. Like that guy who does the Monster Hunter animations, I think still does that. Come on, trick shot, headshot. Head shoot, sorry. Because there is other things you can do with a wargaming themed channel as opposed to gaming on YouTube, that is, other than just battle reports, which you need to break up. Well, monotony is a bit self-deprecating, but you know, if you're just doing those, I wouldn't want to get bored. It's like unboxings of purchases, like when they do new back sets and box sets, that kind of stuff. Tactica isn't really my thing. Tactica just means like, here's how you do overpowered strategies. I never do that in anything, any game or war game, so I don't think I could do that kind of thing. That's definitely a situation where you could probably get guest content on and have someone who's into competitive wargaming cover. Because honestly, to me, the first thing, like, Games Workshop just released their yearly census, where they look for like what you think rather they're doing right, what you think they're doing wrong, how they could improve. Damn it, I forgot where I was I totally blanked on where I was going with this. God, it's been a while since that happened. I totally lost my train of thought just by thinking about whether or not I wanted to do this room or not. Games Workshop brought out the census. Why did I change subject to bring that up? Oh, I remember now. I see, it just took me a second. I just had to retrace the conversation and follow it backwards. One of the things they asked was, when considering making a purchase, how would you rank the following criteria? Lore, rules, and what the miniature looks like. And for me, number 1 is what the miniature looks like, 2 the rules, and 3 the lore, in that order. What matters to me most is how much I think I'd enjoy painting it and how I think the model looks. If I think the model doesn't look that good, then I'm not interested. Like, for instance, let's see, I don't like Tyrannid Ravagers, I don't like Tyrannid Biovores. Don't get too horny because I said the word vor. Back in the day, I wasn't that fussy on Space Marine Assault Marines. I like them more after playing the Space Marine game, honestly, because you can kind of be a badass with a jump pack in that. But that matters more to me, because there's stuff I'll use just because I like the model, even if the rules are kind of, you know, they're kind of eh. Like those new Primaris snipers. The rules are fine, but they're severely limited by only having a maximum of 3. So I feel like that makes them pretty subpar, but I like the models and I like snipers. Oof, I was lucky. Hello, Thrifty Potato. That's the other thing about wargaming. If you wanted to look at it a very cynical point of view, because Games Workshop is such a ridiculously expensive hobby, if you're able to capture the interest of a fan of 40k, they might be willing to go above and beyond supporting you in a way that a gamer who probably doesn't have as much disposable income wouldn't want to or couldn't, because they don't have the disposable income that the average 40k player does, because Games Workshop charges way too much for their crap. Way too much. I can say that as a fact, having done my taxes. How much did I spend on Games Workshop in the last tax year? It's ridiculous. Is it possible to do a Titan fight in 40k? They have apocalypse matches for that, but you would need a ridiculously huge table. Apocalypse matches are mostly for events that can host that type of thing. No, I didn't spend over £2,000 on Warhammer stuff this year, or the last tax year rather. It was a lot. I'm not willing to be more specific than that. But when you think about it, any hobby is expensive if you're into it. Gaming is expensive. Look at the average cost of a AAA title and the cost of the console itself. Accessories, the internet required to play it online. It's not like Warhammer 40k is the only expensive hobby out there. But it is, even by those standards, it's still more expensive than other options. Arrange down. Brah, that's my reaction. We had Mom's knife super recently, didn't we? So no. I'll say no to that. If that cost me the run, whatever. We had the knife too recently. Might even have been the last run. Reading is expensive as hell. Can you not get around that if you do a lot of reading by doing it digitally? Although if you're about to say, but I don't like reading digitally, I am 100% with you. All these 40k books I'm reading at the moment, like It, when I finished it, and if I move on to The Shining or Let the Right One In, I bought physical copies because I like, if I read a book, I like having the book in my hands. I don't like reading digitally at all. The only thing I've ever read digitally is the Sherlock Holmes stories because Apple had them all for free. So I read those when I was a kid. Well, I say a kid. It wasn't that long ago, it was like 10 years. Life is expensive. It is, especially when the taxman takes all your hard-earned money. It's getting lower and lower. The expression, there's only two absolutes, death and taxes. Thank you, the mind, for moving that shot away from me. Also, dying, expensive. Thankfully not to you, but to whoever you left behind, it is. Maybe we shouldn't die then? Don't tell me what to do. Cremated is the cheapest option, yes. Although getting your headstone restored, also expensive. I can tell you that for sure. I saw what it cost to have a family member's headstone, not even just cleaned up, but also an addition made to it. That was expensive. They charge by the letter. Literally, they charge by the letter. Imagine if I charged by the joke. I'd have like £3 by the end of the stream. Just throw your dead body in the sea. No, but then you're going to stink up the sea with your dead body. What did the sea do to you? I want someone, like, once millennials start dying, I want somebody's will to say, just like, bury me with my one true love, and then their next of kin and friends all kind of look at each other awkwardly and say, like, he wants buried with a bunch of anime collectibles and body pillows? Alright, it was in his will, we're gonna have to. I guess I'll go bulk order them from Japan. And then they'll have to tell the priest what all that is, so they include it in the eulogy. So-and-so had many loves. Hitsune Miku. Other assorted female anime characters who aren't coming to mind right now. We don't know what he's doing in heaven, but we do know we probably shouldn't watch. Sayonara, you pervert. And then the priest just walks off, giving the middle finger to all the weebs attending the eulogy. So Isaac is going to be... Ooh, that's tricky. It's, Probably the fork at the very top, I would say. What if you had your cremated ashes put inside with the fluffing of a body pillow of yourself? Do you think if you put that in your will, they'd be willing to do it? Because you can get yourself turned into a diamond and crap, right? So why not the stuffing of a body pillow? If one of a kid's parents dies young, that way they could have them live on. Just don't tell them to kiss the body pillow of their dead parent goodnight, because that might turn into something much worse when they get a bit older. I really should have saved that for the boss fight, rather than just using it because I didn't want it. This is what happens when I've run out of things to talk about early, okay? We end up talking about some kid's dead parent being turned into a sexy body pillow for them. It's the only way they'll learn about weebery. No, don't put it in the closet during the puberty stage, that'll just encourage them. Who said sexy? I just assumed. Is there any other type? Is there just like, is there body pillows in Japan of just like normal business dude in business suit? Is that a thing that exists? Well, yes, they exist. I didn't know this. I thought they were all dirty by default. Kind of like this generation's version of those pens that you could turn upside down and the lady's clothes fell off. That's a very good analogy. That is really what this generation's version of that is. That might be a minor epilepsy warning depending on how off. Yeah, they're flashing quite a bit. Really, chat is at fault for not giving me something more sane to talk about. Way to go, chat. You really fucked this one up, didn't you? Can't take Twitch chat anywhere, bunch of degenerates. I haven't been ignoring you. Well, it's very possible I might have missed stuff, but I haven't been ignoring. But at this point, you might as well save it for Gungeon. The Gungeon crew will appreciate it. They won't appreciate body pillows of dead parents. They're too busy sucking off dodge roll games. Did I say that? Thank you, Revengefly. You're going to make this possible, I think. Oh, that's a luck up, I think. No, it's not. Never mind. It is money, though. No, I'm not the father who left to get milk. Also, it's left to get cigarettes. Oop. Alright, down to the chest we go. We lived this far at least. See, chat, it's not me who's leaving, it's Alana. Oh, this will be interesting. Oh, well, and dangerous. But interesting. Oh no, I've made a mistake. Uh-oh. Yep. Mistakes have been made. Damn you, high tier rate. Oop, the room loaded slow. On carrying Queen it kind of helps because the explosions are hurting her. Yeah, it's working. I take back every bad thing I've ever said about Firemind until the next time it makes me take damage, rather. On the next Arrested Development. I think my favourite line from Ron Howard anyway, I think it's from the very first season. When Michael asks Gorm, what's his name? Job? That's his name, right? Like, did you mail that letter? And he says, yes, I mailed that letter. Then it cuts to Ron Howard saying, he did not in fact mail the letter. And, in an act of defiance, tried to toss it into the sea. And then it shows him trying to do that. I'm back, baby! Not to blast assist. I can die to Blue Baby, but not to blast assist. Or Firemind, I guess. Well, that's a big help, thanks. That's fair enough, but not what I needed. No one was making fun of Andy Griffith. I can't emphasize that enough. I remember that one too. Oh, this is how we die. Yep. Saw it coming, at least. Anyway, I accidentally restarted the run, but this run looks bad, so we ain't restarting this one next time. Hope you enjoyed on YouTube. See you next time. Ta-ra for now.